Okay, great. Awesome. Okay, so very good evening. And after this super inspiring talk by Geeta ma'am, I'm very inspired and excited. And when I heard this title, why school matters, I started thinking about not about schools, but I started thinking about what matters. And I realized my journey of the last 20-22 years with children, with learners, with learning, has been all about what matters. At every stage, we have been asking this question, hey, what matters? So I'm going to share with you my journey, or rather our journey of what matters, beginning from 1999 till now, and through that see if something out of that you can pick up and take and think about. So each slide is a question basically, and I hope you will start thinking as I take you into the journey how our thinking went on. Yeah. We started thinking about what matters. Is it knowledge that matters, or is it the ability to think that matters? That's where we started our journey in 1999. So we started designing activities and doing activities and workshops and creating activity centers where the focus was not on knowledge, but on thinking, knowing that knowledge can be easily acquired. Devices are coming in, laptops and desktops and palm tops and so on at that time. And that was very good because the children were kind of thinking and doing. And as they were thinking and doing, we started realizing that maybe answers also don't matter. What really matters is that can the children question, can the learners question whatever, even the very activity itself. And soon our activities changed into activities which didn't bring them to any answers, didn't bring them to any conclusions, but activity which helped them question stuff. So that's where the next level was. As we moved on from there, we started realizing, does the activity really matter? And we slowly started giving up the activity itself. We realized that if there was stuff in the room, if there was a theme given, if there was resources there, the children will automatically get into what we called as activation. So the activities went out of the window. We stopped designing activities and we started doing activation, as in just letting them use everything in their whole environment to activate their minds, which will go grrr and start thinking, doing, creating. Now, you realize when one starts doing activation, one starts realizing that one is jobless. So suddenly it was, oh, am I really required? And the answer came back, no. I, as a facilitator, teacher, whatever I call myself, was suddenly not required. Because for the children, the learning mattered and they were totally into it. And we were like kind of left jobless. So we would sit in one corner. And when we sat in one corner, because we had nothing really to do, we started observing them. And as we started observing them, we realize that they don't even need this. They don't even need resources in the sense of we putting resources, we creating an environment, we creating material, because even the curriculum doesn't matter. Even the so called themes of physics and themes of history doesn't matter. What matters is the child. They are driving kind of themselves. So we stopped even keeping themes, even keeping resources per se. We would let them come and ask us, uncle, I need a drill machine. Okay, you need a drill machine. Okay, I will go and get it, and so on, depending on what each child started wanting. And then we realized that yes, children can actually live out of their interests. Do we really need to bind them with subjects? Do we need to say you need to learn maths, or you need to learn history, or you need to learn geography? Or can we not let each one create their own curriculum, their own subjects, and which would obviously be based on interest? Meaning, can I actually go to, let's say, A.R. Rahman and say, sir, you are extracurricular? Obviously not, right? It just doesn't make sense. What makes sense for A.R. Rahman is music. And what makes sense for each one of us is whatever excites us, whatever interests us. So we removed everything. We told children, hey, hello, you are now going to decide. And decide what? Decide what you want to do. and you can let your interests drive your day and your week and your month and your year and maybe your life. And when we give this to the children, you know how they looked at it? They started thinking not in terms of learning. Suddenly learning also went out of the window, because they wouldn't come and say, uncle, I want to learn this. They would come to me and say, I want to do this. You see, the language shifted from learning in our mind to doing, and they would do all kinds of things. Right, there was no limit to what they can do or they cannot do. We had to build a campus in this rural campus. All the children were totally involved in making the campus. They made building, they make electrical work, tiling work, painting work, plumbing work, you name it. We have made bulbs. All the bulbs we make ourselves, all our electricity we make ourselves. Everything became doing. It was no more about learning, it was all about doing. And we realize, when you are doing, learning automatically happens. You don't really have to think about maths and science and history and geography. Everything is part and parcel of doing. Yeah. And not just they were doing, they were suddenly leading themselves. If you see this little visual, this photograph of this girl climbing, nobody told her you need to climb. Nobody said that it's easy to climb. Nobody told her it's difficult to climb. She wanted to climb. She was climbing. She's seeing another child climbing. That child is also not helping her. There are some other children who are saying, yes, yes, you can do it. But finally, she's leading herself. And that is what each child shows us. You give us leadership, we will lead ourselves. We will become responsible for ourselves, for every learning that we need to do. And when we give them this leadership, as in we stop being making them follow us and rather letting them lead themselves, then we started thinking, do we, even as an organization, we are not a school, but let's say, do schools matter? Right? Or there is something else that can matter more. Something else, which I think even Geeta ma'am was hinting to, though she was using the term schools. Uh, and to us, the answer came back, what really matters is a community. When we don't think of ourselves as a school, when we think of ourselves as a community, magic happens. Because everything gets broken down, everything becomes equal. Now, suddenly, it doesn't matter. For example, it doesn't matter who is what age, who is connecting with who is learning with whom. If you can see this little picture, there is a 75-year-old, there is a 5-year-old, and then there are all ages in between 10, 15, 25, and they're all doing something together. And isn't that beautiful? We have all heard the saying, it takes a village to raise a child. Now, the moment we remove everything and say, all of us, parents, children, adults, grandparents, neighbors, people down the street, shops down the street, everybody is part of community, then all kinds of connections happen. A child who has interest in baking goes to a nearby bakery and learns from them. A child who is into stocks and likes to do stocks trading at the age of 14 years can connect with somebody else who is already working in stock exchange. So the connection happens all across, because now we are no more dependent or living off with one group, but we are open as a community. What also very interestingly happens is people start grouping together and collaborating together. So there is no need to compare, neither across ages, nor across abilities, nor across genders, nor across colors, nor across anywhere. The children naturally get together. Not just children, actually, children and adults can get together and do things. And that is what we all know as collaboration. So the collaboration starts happening very automatically when we start thinking of ourselves as a community and no more as a learning space, but as a together space. And this together space has brought to us that we stop looking at us as I, and we start thinking of ourselves as we. Just as Geeta ma'am was saying, we can make a difference, yes, but that we has to include children, adults, parents, everybody as maybe equal. Is that possible? Yes, that is possible. That's what we are doing every day in and every day out. Everybody is there, part and parcel. And when we are all together, oh, it's a lot of fun. It's a lot of fun because there is no boundaries. There are different people doing different things, and it's just so much more fun. It's like one endless party. Believe me, it's one endless party. That's what we are living right now. Yeah. I'm just reminded of Lev Vygotsky's thought that through others we become ourselves, and that is what community, which has this word unity in it, is embedded into it. So we start becoming something. In fact, I would say over the last 15, 20 years, I have become somebody totally different. So more than children becoming something, I don't know what each child is becoming, I have become very different through all of these interactions. And I would say then I am the first student of this community in that sense. Yeah. Something very also very interesting happens, and that is slowly we change our focus from earning. Earning is kind of pressure. The moment you think about job, career, how much will I earn, there is stress, there is rat race. People talk about there is stress among children. We are doing workshops. People say, somebody said, I'm doing a stress really stress management workshop for children. I said, oh my goodness, why should children have stress when they have passions? Even if we can let children drive their lives not out of some earning or career or jobs, but through their passions, whatever their passions could be. Their passions could be embroidery, their passions could be music, their passions could be coding, their passions could be finance, their passions could be football, their passions could be chess, their passions could be art, whatever their passions is. And the beautiful thing is that all of these children don't need to have one passion also. They can have multiple passions, or they can hop from one passion to another passion. So children can lead themselves through their passions and actually discover themselves. They need not even look for jobs. They can be job creators. They can be the new entrepreneurs, the new startups, the new initiators, the new leaders. Not because they want to lead, but because they're naturally leading. They're letting their passions lead them. So that's what we have done. We have removed all that. We said, you don't have to think about earning. Think about your passion and let that drive you, and you will earn. And we have enough examples of children doing exactly that. Yeah. Letting their passions lead them. Finally, in a way to kind of conclude this set of questions that we are looking at, is we started thinking, does education matter? And the answer came back to us, no. It's living that matters. It's how I can live today. You see, education seems or has been made, we have been made to believe education is about some future. But I'm not living in future, I'm living in now. And if I live now, I will live out of my interest, out of my togetherness, out of my desires, out of my passions, and then learning will happen. I go on board to say that learning, living, education is all the same. And if you want to see it, if you want to experience it, maybe if you allow me, I can welcome you to our community. It's called Aarohi Open Learning Community, or we also call it, it's formally called Aarohi Life Education. But primarily it is open, which means children can drive it however they want. They learn what they want, and they learn all together. Yeah. What I want to do is I want to play a very small 1 minute video where some of us are sharing what we do in a day. Something as simple as that is what life is all about. Yeah. So let's watch this video. I hope you can hear it. Okay, so that is what we are, and that is what I'm inviting you to consider. And if you're thinking, hey, how does this connect to schools? I'm in a school. Can we do any of these, or many of these, or all of these? Now, I can only say yes. And I can, and we can support you in converting many of these, if you connect with any of those, into your school environment, converting your school into a community, converting your school into a school not for children but school for leaders, where each one is leading themselves. So please connect with us if you would like to take this forward. There are no commercials attached. Everything is absolutely free here. You can connect with us. We are ready to support. Yeah. Thank you, and hopefully, this would have stirred some thoughts in your mind. Thank you once again.